ready?
Emma needs a long drink because she hasn't really had.
The way we make decisions, particularly important or difficult decisions, really follows three stages, it seems to me. The first you could describe as reflection, but that would be misleading because really what this consists of is me standing with my head in the sand because before making any important decision I like to ignore it for a little while first. That's me with my head in the sand and Maaike quietly brooding.
Me being silent for a while and just getting more and more angry. And Dominic also being quiet, but not because he's brooding, but just, not necessarily being upfront.
Step 2 is discussion. Well, that would be maybe more accurately described as fighting, because we don't seem to make any important decision without a good fight. And usually this is actually the release of the inevitable tension that builds up over this period of reflection.
I pick a fight and say some very horrible things, and I always regret it afterwards because at the time I feel I had some good points to make, and I spoil that by being personal and unkind, and it actually undermines everything that I wanted to say. It undermines the valid points that I had.
And then step 3, resolution. And actually this is where, I suppose this is where the stage at which we actually begin to deal with the problem or deal with the decision together and in prayer.
We actually have a reasonable discussion about these things. Usually, over a meal, sitting at the table, trying to talk things through, or while I'm chopping the onions or something, where we actually speak quite reasonably, and there's a certain amount of sort of enthusiasm and courage involved.
There, well done. Dangle your legs either side of that. That's it.
Steps 1 and 2 are really horrible. They're quite. Step 1 is quite lonely, and it doesn't get us very far. Step 2 can be very aggressive, and we say nasty things to each other, bring all sorts of irrelevant evidence to bear.
And it's usually me that says the unspeakable things, and Dominic who doesn't return the shouting, which is actually very frustrating. I wish he would sometimes. Then I'd have something to hold against him.
But at least it gets us to step 3, where we begin to talk about things more rationally and in a more generous way.
You go straight into the conservatory.
It appears to me that the most difficult times we've had in our marriage have been associated with difficult choices about either where we're supposed to be or what we're supposed to be doing.
That's your
Without doubt, the biggest challenge, the biggest crisis in our married life has been lived out in the last 2 months. The choices are about whether Maaike should, after 6 years of being at home with the children, leave her work at home and go and work outside the home, start training to become a midwife. Whether I should take a job that was offered to me in Belgium with the same company that I've been working for the last couple of years, but in a different area, and an area of specialism that I've been wanting to move into for some time, and with it's a big promotion as well.
See how well this one did, because it's proper oil.
When I see a pregnant woman in the street, when I imagine myself in a uniform on the labour ward delivering a baby, my fingers tingle and I feel something inside that is so strong, a sort of a joy and an enthusiasm that I realise I've got to try it. It may not work, it may not be what I anticipate it to be, but I need to find out, and I can't carry on waiting to discover whether it's my vocation.
You and Dodie had all the peanuts.
What?
So, who should do what? Should I do the new job? Should Maaike stay at home? Should she be doing the midwifery? Should we be living here in Oxfordshire both together? Should we be living in Antwerp both together? Or should we allow ourselves to be separated, at least for some part of the week?
Pink shirt? Yes.
Okay.
No.
It was very hard. It made me very angry that this should endanger my course, and the support that I'd been promised from him seemed to be withdrawn.
What does this do?
That puts the alarm on, and that takes the alarm
I've pressed it for a minute.
That's okay.
These questions are not yet answered. We've begun to make some decisions, and we've taken some actions. I've started the job. Maaike's committed to doing the course. I'm living 4 nights a week away from home and travelling a lot. And we haven't yet found anybody to look after the children while Maaike's away doing her course. So everything's still very much in turmoil.
In the big things, you can't say, okay, that's clear then, we'll do that, and then it happens. You sort of decide, and it sort of happens a few weeks later, or, a few days later. It's not an instant thing. Right.
It has taught us the need that we have to trust and to acknowledge where these challenges are coming from, and give them back to God with the confidence that our loving Father will not see us in turmoil forever.
This is Apple Tree Farm. This is Mrs. Boot. It suddenly seems very clear to me that although it's only 2 weeks away, and probably I will wobble at some point in the next couple of weeks, and it'll all seem very difficult, I don't have the same despair that I had. I feel it is good and it's right, and we will sort out the children. They're very happy, very resilient, very grounded people, and even if we can't find the perfect solution in the next few weeks, we'll find the right solution, and move on as and when we need to. It all seems much more simple now.
Donkey.
Where's a donkey?
I often think that I spend a lot of time straining to understand what the will of God is for me, and praying hard, please reveal it to me, reveal what you want me to do, God, without looking back at the path that my life has taken, and seeing in that the pattern of revelation, seeing what God has been doing with me up to now.